Hey, what's good? Cliff Cash is a stand up comedian and political activist out of North Carolina. Rapper C4 Explosives joins me in a conversation with Cliff about becoming a comedian, being a left leaning person in the South, and believe it or not, we even convinced him to work on a rap album. This is my conversation with Cliff Cash. Before we get into it, remember to go to coconutjustice.com to get some clothes that I think would look good on you. Let's go. Hey everybody, it's Carlos. Back on the channel, we got C4 Explosives,
What's cracking?
and this time we're bringing some heat, kids. We got a professional stand-up comic, an activist, and let me see if I can get this right. Fifth cousin, twice removed from Johnny Cash. You guys, Cliff Cash. The
Hello,
budget
everyone.
is still very small, so we don't have a live studio audience yet, but we're working on it.
All right, we can fake it.
Cliff, did you want to open us up in prayer?
Yeah, yeah. If everybody would just please bow your heads. Lord, I just want to thank you that we finally got us a Christian president, a man who is really just like Jesus Christ, both white, both from Florida, both love hookers and Russia and golf and con man shit. I mean, I love that the quote unquote Christians are like, yeah, I really like this dude who's selling a USA Bible made in China with another dude, and they have 9 marriages between the two of them. Like, that sentence alone should make every normal adult go, "What the fuck? What?"
Oh, hang on. Before we go too far, amen.
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 That's, that's just awesome.
Please save us. Please save us from the gays that are going to take our guns and make us trans.
Oh, how about it? How about it? So, if
Just
you guys
kidding.
don't know, if you Cliff is a stand-up comedian, and he's gotten into has your stand-up always been politically charged?
Yeah, I mean it. Excuse me. It really started that way, and it was always that when I could do it. But as an unfamous comedian, you take whatever gig you can get,
Right.
and you can't always do that. Not that I'm like scared to do it. I will do it anywhere, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like if you're sending me to the casino in the elderly town of Dumbfuckistan, like I'm not going to do that material because I want to get paid. I
Yeah.
might want to go back reluctantly. You know what I mean? It's like,
You might want to get out.
yeah, so I mean, it's not even that. It's more like, all right, it's a comedy show. I'm not really here to like ruin anybody's night.
Yeah.
I'm not here to like piss off the person who paid me to come.
Mhm.
I want to get paid. I might want to come back. Like most of these gigs, I didn't really want to come back,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, these types of get, the ones where I'm not allowed to say where I want what I want to say because of who the crowd is. I don't really want to do those again, but my career was such that I probably was gonna have to do it again next year,
Yeah.
and so you just kind of do what you can do to get by. But even then, I would slip in. I would. I mean, I still do cruise ships. I probably won't after this year, but I'm still doing them now, and I slip it in there. Like I have a joke. I have a joke. The whole story is about my college girlfriend getting alcohol poisoning and pooping in the bathtub. I put,
You
well,
too?
I mean, it's mostly my fault. I put her in the tub because I had to rinse her off because she had gotten sick. And then I thought, well, that's a good place to leave her is the tub because if
Yeah.
anything happens, I can just rinse her off again. And she just got too relaxed and she pooped. It wasn't really her fault, but the joke is totally silly. It's about a turd in a bathtub. But there's a point in the joke where I'm running to the next bathroom to get more toilet paper, and I say, I was hauling ass down this hallway. I was running like Josh Hawley, spinelessly fleeing the treason he helped create. And so I do that even on a cruise ship. I'll do it anywhere because unless you're politically knowledgeable, you don't know what that means.
Over the
Yeah.
head, yeah.
You might not know
And
who Josh Hawley is.
Yeah, if you're progressive, you're like, hell yeah, that was a great tag.
Yeah.
If you don't know, then you don't know. And if you're even and here's the thing. Let me back up. You're either a politically knowledgeable progressive and you really appreciate the joke, or you don't follow politics at all and you don't know what I'm talking about,
Mhm.
or you're a conservative and you don't understand any of it anyway and you also don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So
Yep,
really,
exactly.
really the only person that's getting it is the anti-MAGA people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
MAGA knows three people. They know Donald Trump, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Mhm.
maybe whoever else is like from their state.
Elon, maybe.
They don't know any. They don't know shit. They go, why don't you vote for Donald Trump? He's a businessman.
Yeah.
What business? I like his shoes. You know, they don't know anything. They're not following it like we're following it.
I
They
like
don't know
red.
the names of legislation and shit. Like,
And
Man,
this is a we're here. This is a group of people that last year were talking about how technology is going to ruin everything and Bitcoin is for losers and all this stuff. All of a sudden, this dude comes out with Bitcoin and everyone's like, "Oh,
buy my Melania coin.
doubled his net worth in 6 months in office.
and a nice
But
jet."
let's drain the swamp. It's like
Yeah,
you're too busy
exactly.
choking on swamp water to even know you're in the swamp, you dumb bastard.
You don't know that you're in the swamp because you're buried in it. And
Man,
But
for them, it's
long
just like
answer.
a normal day.
Oh, totally. Long answer to a short question. I've always been pretty political. My first open mic bit, I made fun of Sarah Palin. I talked about religion. I talked about
When was your first time up on stage?
14 years ago.
Nice.
So I've been
And
toiling
so
in
yeah,
the shadows
that
of
track, Sarah
obscurity.
Palin was.
Oh, she was relevant at the time.
at the time.
And I had a joke where I said Michelle Bachman. And after that, I had a joke where I said Michelle Bachman makes Sarah Palin look like Dr. Beth Brown. And nobody would laugh because nobody knew who that was. So I would let it get real quiet and I would go, you guys don't know who Dr. Beth Brown is. She's the first female astrophysicist, you dumb fucks, you know.
Zing.
So
You
I'm
guys don't
saying that,
research shit.
yeah,
Man, hey
Michelle
Cliff,
Bachman, even dumber than Sarah Palin.
I
Who
love
knew it was possible?
I love
Allow me to introduce you to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I love
Uh,
how you've been
Marjorie said,
effortlessly.
"Hold my beer," and she just did a
Oh, dude.
cannonball into stupid. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying that when you're posting up on Instagram and all that, doing your posts, man, like you're walking your dog, and you're just effortlessly throwing fire. Like it's like just easy. Like the targets are like you can just throw a dart at the water, and you're just gonna hit something. Like it's endless material. So as a musician, for me, like trying to transition that into music, it's a little difficult because I'm having a conversation with somebody, but I gotta structure it a little bit. So what's like your method to your madness trying to structure it into comedy?
Well, first of all, I don't know what state you live in, but I'm in North Carolina and you're not allowed to use the word transition. So we might want to edit that out.
Let's take that out. I'm sorry.
We
And
don't
Uh,
transition shit.
I can't even wear transitional lenses because they'll put me in prison. I ain't got money for them shits anyway. They told me, they said, you need reading glasses. Like, I can't read. What the hell do I need those for?
You're banning books anyway. Why the hell? Like,
Them's just looking glasses.
I just need my duck collar.
So you saying how do I fit the politics into comedy?
Yeah, I mean, just like, I mean, so you've been always on the political forefront, but like to have it, man, your arsenal for your comedy is just like your everything's a dagger. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like if I wrote a track, if I wrote a song, everything is a punchline.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing for
yeah.
comedy. So like the lead up, the build up, like what, like go through the process a little bit.
I mean, honestly, it's just that 10,000 hours cliche. It's just
Mhm.
like doing something so regularly for so long. To me now, it's like riding a bike. Um, I mean, I don't typically go very long between show. I mean, I might go 2 weeks between shows or something, but like one time I lived in Nicaragua for the winter and I came back, and like my first show back was in Charleston, South Carolina, and I was like, man, I haven't been on stage in however many months, and I was like nervous, and it,
Mhm.
and I came off stage like, damn, that's the best show I've had in a long time. So it's just like it's
Nice.
just in me at this point, and I think also, I'm not trying to say any of this like boastfully, obviously, but on you know, it's just like my thing, man. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing
It
else
comes
is.
easy to you.
Nothing else is my thing, and like it's my thing so much so that when I finally found it, I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck did I think I was gonna do? Like I had no business out here doing anything else. I
Yep.
should not have
Yeah.
been doing it. I should not have been pretending to be a grown up doing these other things, trying to be on time for shit and like, I kept trying to be like, well, what would my dad want? I should start a business. And then 2 years in, I'm like, this fucking
This is
sucks. Like,
dumb.
I really, I was like a lifelong class clown. I'm an insomniac. I'm not like
Oh,
actually bipolar, but I've got some like highs and lows stuff. I've got some depression. I've got some anxiety. I've got some weird quirks. I'm really long-winded, as you can already tell in this interview. So like, I'm the guy that leaves you like a 3-minute voicemail that could have just been like, "Yo, call me back." Or
yeah.
I send you an email that's like a whole page, and you're like, "Dude, that could have been one sentence." But so all those things are liabilities. The insomnia was a liability. The
Yeah.
class clown shit was a liability. The life of the party shit was a liability. The superfluousness, all of it, every one of those things was a liability until I found my thing. And as soon as I found my thing, they were all assets.
Yep.
It's good that I
Yeah.
can't sleep at night. I don't need to sleep. I'm a stand-up comedian. I couldn't go to sleep anyway. I got shows
Right.
to do.
Might as
Mhm.
well
I
go
got
to work.
I got another city to drive to after this show. Um, and it's like, of course I sleep late. I mean, when I was in sales, I'd have a girlfriend like, why you sleep so late? Like only losers sleep late. And now I can be like, I'm a fucking comedian. We all sleep late. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
I was
It's
up
part of the
till
job.
4. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning insulting MAGA people on the internet. I'm tired. Don't wake me up before 11:15.
Man.
So,
Were your
some
parents
of it
like
just,
when? Well, actually, no. You were further along in your life because you said that you started like 14 years ago. So it wasn't like you were a class clown and you wanted to be a stand-up comedian and your parents were like, "No, don't do this." You were a full-on adult.
oh yeah. And I was a full-on adult who was coming to terms with the fact that like none of this grown-up shit was getting it done for my
Yeah.
what I felt like I was looking for, or longing for, or just wanted to be. I just wanted something to click and to be good at something. And
Yeah.
I mean, I flipped houses. I was pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at like going into a room and going, this paint would look good with this tile, and I'm gonna do a
Sure.
shelf here. And I like that, but not in a way that it would fulfill me for 40 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was 31, and I was like, I was in a financial shitstorm. I had lost my ass in the real estate market. I had like 6 rental
Hmm.
houses. I lost one of them. I lost a renovation project. So I had like 2 foreclosures. I sold the lucrative rentals to pay for the losers. My credit was ruined. Like I was in a literal the kind of shit that some people kill themselves over. I
Hmm.
lost everything I had worked for, and I was in a just coming out of like a tumultuous relationship. My dad was in chemo. My
Oh,
sister had just been sick, and so I was a mess. And a comedy club opened up in my town, and people were like, "Dude, you should just go try." People were telling me for months, "You need to go down to open mic." And finally, I was like, "All right, let's go down here and see what this open mic is about." And by the end of the night, I was like going up to the owner, like, "Dude, please let me go up. Please let me go up." And
yeah.
he's like, "Nope, that's not how it works, dude. You got to get here early. You get on the list. You
You
sign
sign
up."
Mhm.
up. Yeah.
And I'm glad he did that because had I gone up that night, I probably would have bombed because I didn't have
Yeah.
anything. I would
Yeah.
have just gone up and started rambling, and it probably would have sucked.
Yeah.
So I worked on it every day for a week, and then the next Thursday I went and brought the heat, and like I remember that I came off stage and the host was like, "Was that really your first time?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, give it up for that guy. This is his first time." And then I went every Thursday for like a year and a half. I was just so addicted to it. And
Same
then I would
place,
go
same
to,
club.
yeah, and they started other, like, it was comedy was brand new in the whole town.
Oh
So
wow.
then other rooms started, so then it got to a
So
point where
it's
you
fair
could,
to say you were probably hilarious because there was no one else trying to be funny.
well, those, by the time I started doing it, there was probably 20 people on the open mic.
Yeah.
And I would say like 6 or 8 of us were worth watching.
Good at it. Yeah.
And the others were so bad that it was kind of funny how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was most comedy open mics you go to and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have a panic attack. This is terrible. Ours was the thing to do on Thursdays. It was
An event.
at capacity every Thursday. For whatever reason, it was just a magical time, man, and it hasn't been recreated since. The
Yeah.
club has moved locations twice. Now the open mics maybe 30, 40, 50 people in the audience. Then it was like 120 every Thursday night. They
Oh,
would turn
nice.
people away at the door.
Wow.
And so you had a real crowd.
Yeah.
And so you were really doing a comedy show in front of a real comedy crowd. And so it just enabled me to figure it out faster and get better faster. Had
Yeah.
I been doing the kind of open mic that most people have to do at first, it would have taken me a lot longer to get good. Because
Yeah.
most open mics, there's 50 people there,
Hmm.
and 35 of them are comedians, and they're not going to be supportive, and the other 15 people are going to be weirded out by 3/4 of it. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
my ex-wife couldn't go. She couldn't. She was like, "I'm gonna have a panic attack." I was like, "All right, you don't have to come anymore."
See, we're from Chicago, so I mean, it's like either for me, it was like either you're an MC or you're a comedian because everybody down there is funny.
Yeah,
Second City, and
Yeah.
everybody's on the come up and on a fringe and stuff, and like so there's like that nucleus, but it gets oversaturated. So for like to be on somewhere that's just like groundbreaking, like it has to be pretty
And
epic on there, man.
to piggyback off of that, like in Chicago, it's kind of a rough town. So either you need to fight, you better rhyme, or you better tell some jokes,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
someone's coming to get you.
you got
Someone will
punchlines
whip
either
your
way.
ass just because.
You're
You
throwing
better
punch.
have a strong punch or a strong punch line.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
I do a little flowing too. I do a little MCing.
Oh shit! Don't
Hey,
say that, Cliff.
hey, I just
Only,
got out of the
only when
car.
I've had.
I just
Oh,
got out of the car from LA. I did my first rap song, my first
nice.
rap track. I killed it. My shit is still sitting there. I was telling C4 right here. I was like, I just got out of the car. Let me set up my camera. I had to set everything up.
Nice.
We got connections. We can put you on record.
Let's go, Cliff. We got bars,
My
man.
We got
followers
it.
would my followers would lose their minds, dude.
Oh man.
They're clamoring for it. I just got a message. They said, Cliff, please drop some, drop a diss track, please. That's what they said, just
Oh,
right there.
I will. Maybe not right off the top right now, but I'll be. I should write something. Just go after every Republican one at a time.
Man, when I asked you when I had you on the in the DM, I was like, oh man, I gotta ask Cliff, what do you want in this song? And you belted out like 5 or 6 things. I'm like, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Trump's a douchebag, he's a Russian asset. I'm like, all right, let me check out. Hopefully, I can check off as many boxes as I can. I was like, I needed to get this out before No King's Day, so yeah, dude.
You have my boy giddy as shit too. Let's be honest. He's like,
I
oh,
screenshot
Cliff
screen.
Roback, look. I'm gonna have to rewrite some of this. La, 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 la.
Nah, man. It's yeah, dude. I was excited, man.
We can
I
collab
need
on
to. I
something.
need to
We
use
can
it on
collab on
something.
something. Fans, Cliff Cash fans. You heard it here first. We're gonna pressure Cliff into making some music.
Diss track, MAGA diss track.
MAGA diss track.
That my rap name is gonna be Forgiato Blows.
He needed the money.
My rap name is Cadillac Clifton Santiago.
Fuck yeah,
Cadillac
dude.
Clifton
There you go.
Santiago. I
Get
love
it.
Or capital C lift on.
Dude, you've been working there. You've been working on this. You've been working
He
on.
wants to do it.
Dude, I'm
He-
telling you, from 16 to like late 20s, every time I got faded, every time, it was like me and a couple other buddies, and most of them were bad. I had one other friend that was good. He's now a derivatives trader and like lives in a castle. And everybody else was just okay. But me and him would just kill it all night, and everybody else would be like, "What? What?" And me
Oh,
and
I
him would
love
just crush. And then it would get to, it would get to this dude, and he would be like, "Yo, I'm at the party. This shit is crazy.
yeah.
that.
Yo, why
And
You
then
John
don't
I
see
is
me.
lazy?" I'm
Like, you
"All
ain't
right,
even
man."
trying.
he's
Yeah.
looking around for shit. Yeah, dude. Nah, man.
I wrote a diss track to rappers that do their own graphic design.
That's funny.
Uh, the dude, the engineer that was working it, he wasn't ready. He said you were 10 bars in. I didn't know it was gonna be this bar heavy. He needed to take a breath. I
That's
had
funny,
him
dude.
rolling. It was so much
That's
fun.
awesome. Send me
So
that
yeah,
shit.
we're gonna have to get you out here, or we'll figure
I'll,
out a spot. I'll
I'll
come
do
to
it.
North Carolina, no problem.
Y'all are both in Chicago.
No, I'm in Florida.
No,
Oh, okay. But
and
you're
I'm
from
just north of
Chicago.
San Francisco in California.
Oh, I got you. But y'all know
Yeah,
each other from Chicago?
Yeah,
yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
that's what I was trying to see. If you were still going to Almirada, I was going to try to catch up with you, man.
For sure. Yeah, like 3 shows. I think 1 is north of there, and 2 are actually in Alamorada, and then I'm in Key West the next weekend.
All right. Yeah, the further north you can go, is the easier it might be to.
I know
Where
people.
where do you live?
I'm just north of West Palm.
Okay. Oh, you're right there in the belly of the beast.
Yeah,
We should shoot a video at the entrance of Mar-a-Lago.
Oh fuck yeah.
yeah.
Oh
That's
yes,
where I'm dropping the diss track.
I'll come out for that one.
yes.
That's
I'll
where
come
the
out for
diss
that
track
one.
happens.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where I could say talk about where Trump is spooning Vladimir Putin? Yeah, dude, I'm all about that, dude. I'm all about that.
Fake bling on the wrist, dirty diaper, and bitch tits. We can cook something up.
Oh man, I don't even like
Dirty
tacos
diapers
anymore.
and bitch tits. Hell yeah. Hey, and if you haven't been there, Southern Florida, boy, oh boy, is that a mecca for these hillbillies, boy.
Who's this peepaw in the gold sneakers about to bust his orange face through these old speakers?
That's
That's
legitimate.
what's up.
That is legitimate.
Off the dome,
Off
dog.
the dome.
C4 hasn't even, I haven't seen you feeding Cliff any lines either.
What,
So
man?
that is off the
It's,
dome.
you know what? It's more. We're not trying to rival, and I don't even have $69.99 to buy a China Bible.
Oh shit.
Oh boy.
Come on, Carlos.
Nope. I'm not gonna disrespect the art by trying to freestyle.
But if it's in the Constitution, then what are these monsters doing? Stripping away our rights just to prove that they could do it. These ignorant, tough guys are out of their damn minds. They're severing family ties with puppets posing as ice. Now take a look in my eyes. Is this American pie? Well, if it is, I'd rather starve to death than die for a slice. What happened to home of the brave, land of the free? Now kiss the ring of the king as J6ers continue to sing to all you bigots and bastards, racists and fascists, MAGA hat hypocrites, Nazis, and Russian assets who padded their pockets when Donnie Taco threw a tantrum. This an anthem for all the people you try to handcuff. You must have forgot America's a melting pot. Refugees are not ghosts in El Salvador's melting clock. From Chrome to CCOT, GOP shook in they socks because the power in our people will never be stopped. So to those you love to hate, the vendors you never paid, the Central Part 5 who you persecuted on the front page, all the fallen soldiers you call suckers and losers, mothers bleeding profusely because doctors and nurses rendered useless. Whoo! Fox is looping, science is stupid, while our president is spooning. Vladimir Putin, come on, man, admit you don't give a shit if we live or die, as long as we abide by Project 2025. No more lies, no more kings. We still fight until Marjorie Taylor Greene sings. Fat lady.
I don't want to hear
There
Marjorie
you go.
Taylor Greene sing, but other than that was fire.
Thank you, sir. But that's the fat lady, man. That's the
No,
That's
I
a
know.
fat lady. You saw her trying to do those pull-ups.
Did you see her run up that dirt hill though? That shit was dope. She
Why
posted
did-
a video. She
Hey,
posted
by
a
the
video of her. She's like,
before she got there,
Marjorie
that hill
Taylor
was clean.
Greene, I'm about to run up this dirt hill. Watch this. It's like, who are you? Are you Napoleon Dynamite's older brother? Who the fuck are you?
Stop. Well, my lips hurt really bad.
I bet I can run up this hill right here. I bet I can throw football over those mountains. My favorite
Shout
thing
out
Marjorie the other
Jasmine
day,
Crockett. That put her in her place.
bad built, bleach
That built,
blonde, butch body.
bleach blonde butch body. Oh,
We get her on the track.
bars.
Oh, that has to get in there too. Bad built, bleach blonde, butch body has to get in a little.
That's an ad
flow,
lib,
too.
yeah.
We
That
can
would be
make
that would be dope. That
We
would
can
be
make it
dope.
happen.
And
There are a lot of
the
things
lines
around the
about the
body.
bitch tits too. That has to be in there.
Dirty diaper. Bitch
Like-
tits.
The fans are
Bad
clamoring
built,
for.
beach blonde, butch body, hanging with Mike Johnson in the closet, being naughty.
Giving them a jerk
Oh, we're getting
because
carried
she's
away.
kind of slotty.
I'm working on this bit about how I went on a terrible date once. And like I knew it was a terrible date, and evidently the girl knew it was a terrible date too. Cause she left. She left like I have a Sprinter van with like a bed in it and shit I bought and like built it out to tour in and like live out of.
Because
when I'm
that's not
touring.
scary at all. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, get in my van.
All the
Get in the
Sandy doing
van.
So I'm showing the van to a friend of mine and his girlfriend, and I see this girl walk across the. And I was like, they were like, "How's your date going?" I was like, "Not great, dude. She's brutal." And I go, they were like, "Is that her?" I was like, "Oh my god, that is her. What is she doing? Is she leaving? She's leaving. I should be leaving. I can't believe she's." And I'm just like dying laughing. She's leaving in the middle of the day without saying goodbye. It's never happened to me. And I mean, in my head, I'm thinking like we had already been like sexting, so I was like, "Yeah, she's terrible, but I'm horny. I'm lonely. It's COVID. We're probably gonna bang. I'll figure it.
And
You know, we'll get through
she's
it."
talking the right shit.
Yeah. And then she's leaving. I was like, "What?" I kind of thought we were gonna bang, even though I don't like you at all. But like an hour, I was like, "Well," I lived like an hour from where I was, and so I reached out to my buddy that lives like really close to this bar. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Can I like I'm gonna come crash there?" He's like, "All right." He's older than me. He's like, "All right, man, I'm getting out of bed." So I get to his house. He's like out of bed and it's like just his boxer shorts. He's like, "I'll have a beer with you." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna have a margarita." So I'm in my van. I got all the shit in my van to make margaritas. So I'm making like a tahine rim Grand Marnier splash of pineapple
Whoa.
margarita in my margarita glass. And he's just like drinking a Miller Lite in his underwear.
You gotta get drink that Bush Light.
And I'm telling him the story about, I'm like, "Man, this girl, and she fucking left me." And he's laughing. He's like, "This is a hilarious," and he's like, thinks the story's hilarious. All of a sudden, I get a text from the girl, and it says, I'm sorry, this is vulgar for anybody watching that doesn't like, I apologize for the vulgarity, but this is just the true story. All the text said was, "If you ever wanted to hate fuck a female, here's my address." Or it was like, I know it wasn't a great date or something like that. And then it said that. And I was like, "Whoa, what?" And he's like, "What? What is it? What is it?" And I read it to my buddy, and my
Be
buddy's
right
like,
back.
"Oh, my buddy's like, you got to go, man. You got to go." And I was like, "No, I'm not going. That's how you get arrested. This girl, she is clearly off her rocker. Like, I get there and get in trouble."
Hold my margarita.
But the whole joke is like, man, and I'm not vanilla. Like I'm a little bit freaky, but like hate fucking isn't something I've really done a lot. I've had makeup sex, maybe even breakup sex, but not really hate fucking. I never
Yeah.
really understood the concept of that. Ever since that night, that stuck in my head that this girl said this to me, and I'm like, man, I never really got it. And then I saw Lauren Boebert talk on TV for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, now I get it. I get it, tender lady."
I used to
Now
date
it
this
makes
white girl.
sense.
I used to date this white girl that, and the reason I say white girl is because it'll make sense in a little bit. She had a fantasy, a rape fantasy.
Ugh.
And she's like, "Yeah, one of these nights when I come home from work, I want you to jump out and rape me." And I was like, "That's how people like me go to jail.
Yeah.
Ain't no way in hell. Nope, not on accident. Nope."
I want you to hit me with a vacuum cleaner. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'll hit you with the vacuum cleaner.
I want you to take my laptop, my watch, my wallet. No.
It's already in this pillowcase.
This sounds like a fucking.
I broke in
setup.
her house. I took all her fucking food. I was like, oh, my bad. I didn't.
This sounds like a MAGA setup right here.
Exactly.
This sounds like some
Exactly.
unidentified rednecks with face masks are about to send me to a third
This
world.
big
death
brown
camp.
fella jumping out and back from behind a car to snatch this little white girl up. No, I've seen that movie. Nope. We always
I've
lose.
got a bit of a murder fantasy. All right, we're gonna have to work that out with somebody else.
We got to talk.
Not trying to kink shame, but I draw the line at violence.
No, but something like that. That's when I dig a hole and I tell her put the lotion on his skin or it gets the hose again.
Oh my god,
That one's easy.
I think I missed this reference.
Silence of
Silence
the
of the
Lamb
Lambs.
reference.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while. He was a good man, though, Hannibal Lecter. He wants to have you for dinner. I'm a good speaker, right? Joe Biden's a bad speaker. Hannibal Lecter wants to have you for dinner. Would you like to get electrocuted or eaten by a shark?
Hey, when I was driving through Indiana to get to Chicago, I was like, look, kids, those are the things that kill whales, because like there's windmills everywhere.
Yeah.
There's like what about 200-300 windmills that are just there. I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, this fucking guy. He said they kill whales and birds. These things move about as quick as
And it causes cancer too. Just
how can I
yeah.
forget? How can I forget?
well.
You never had that windmill cancer? Oh, the treatment for that's brutal. You have to drink gasoline. The only way to get rid of it is to
No,
drink
you have to
fossil
ingest
fuels.
bleach with a light,
Yeah.
with a blue light.
In
A
your
little
anus.
ivermectin. Yeah, he's a simpleton clown. And what it is like some millionaire that he played golf with was like, hey Donnie, I'll put $10 million in your sock drawer if you will speak out against windmills. But they didn't give him any talking points, and or he just can't read, and so he never read what they gave him. And so he just goes on TV and he's like, windmills are trans. Like he just like makes shit up. Like, none of it makes
Yeah.
any sense. You know that he's made asbestos legal again. Clearly,
Ugh.
some fucker that gave him money is like, hey dude,
Yep.
my Paul owns an asbestos mine, or an asbestos quarry. I don't even know where asbestos comes from, but like because it's been illegal for 100 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey Donnie, I'm a member of Mar-a-Lago and we are in the asbestos business. Can you make it legal again? He's like,
Yeah.
sure, I love asbestos and I hate windmills.
I got 10,000 of your bitcoins.
Yeah.
And
It's that simple.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, and they're not even hiding it. It's just like, hey, you know how children, they used to be those warnings that children shouldn't put plastic bags over their heads. Well, we own the plastic bags and we kind of want to be able to put them over children's heads again. We'll give you $10 million if you remove
They're like,
the warning.
I got this chip company. They're all made out of lead. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Put them
exactly,
in
dude.
schools. Let's put them in schools to feed kids.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have children working in factories 6 months from now. I guarantee. They are literally they are rolling back child labor laws in
They did in
places
Florida.
like Oklahoma and Arkansas.
They did in Florida.
Arkansas.
Florida
Yeah.
is just constantly like, let's see if we can be the dumbest. Florida is fascinating.
They're like they need to replenish all the people that they took away.
Yeah.
And
When
so-
my mom moved to Florida, I took all her stuff from Chicago and moved her down to Florida. And that night, we were all sitting on the couch. We turn on the TV and the news comes on. And they said, a Florida man tied a chain around a cash station machine, an ATM, and got caught by the police because they were dragging the ATM down the street. And I looked at my mom. I said, "What have you done?"
and you live
Dude,
here.
We went from murder, shootings, and to like straight up dragging an ATM machine.
yeah. Fucking an alligator, giving it meth. I mean, Florida's next level, dude. Florida people will just fuck an alligator at church. Like it's just a whole nother ball game.
At church.
And the alligator has a name, and everybody knows it because they all fuck it. It's crazy. The
Yeah.
alligator's talking in tongues. It's a mess.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
And I talked to my cousins that live out there, and I'm like, hey, like there's hurricanes. There's more hurricanes, and they we built different.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, you are.
Hunker
maybe.
down.
Yeah. With less brain cells.
Real different.
Yeah.
Cro-Magnon different.
I live here still.
You're
I don't
like,
wanna
Yeah. Look at you. Look at you. Live
Look at
your
me.
best life. Look at you
Hey, man,
living your
hey,
best life.
hey, go run up that dirt hill.
Hey, you know what though? You know what is funny, man? Is I ran out of gas, right, for my lawnmower, and I did have to use my weed eater on my lawn. And
Oh, I
then
bet it.
I saw, I was watching the special, man. I was like, this guy. I did not have any birdhouses on my fences, though. I swear.
You didn't have any rebel flag birdhouses?
No, I did not.
Every man, every decent man, every man who's worth a shit has has had a broken lawnmower and weed eated their entire yard at least once.
I was like, I'm
That
just gonna
joke,
do this spot.
and ladies, maybe ladies too. I'm not trying to be sexist, but probably more men. And I was telling that joke like, there's gonna be a lot of dudes that are like, fuck, I've done that before.
But it's
Have
like,
you always been left leaning in your views?
Yeah, since I was old enough to like, I think once my IQ hit like 60, 65, that was pretty clearly the path.
since I slid out the womb.
Once I saw Ronald Reagan fumble the AIDS epidemic and pretend that trickle down economics was real and lie about Iran Contra and then Bush lied about WMDs. And,
Oh
yeah,
my
it was like,
God.
yeah, these people are pieces of shit. And that's why it's so funny to me that people like, it's the old Republican Party. I'm like, I don't like that. Donald Trump's not the disease. Donald Trump is the pus-filled wart that makes it impossible to ignore the disease. The disease is Rush
Yep.
Limbaugh and Fox News and the
Yep.
defunding of education and deliberate disinformation and
Yep.
pumping hatred into the dumbest people in our society. It's white supremacy. It's homophobia. It's greed. It's ugliness. Like
That's
this
what I
shit's not
always.
new.
That's what I always said about Trump. It's not necessarily Trump. It's the people that follow him and that give him this microphone. If
Oh
it
yeah.
wasn't for them, he'd just be some crazy dude that you'd be laughing at the subway.
And he says what he says because he knows that's what they want to hear.
Yep.
I think they
Yep.
are probably more racist than he is. A
100%.
lot of what he does is just like, if I do this, they'll let me get away with whatever else.
Mhm. That's what it is.
I don't think he
The
gives a
same-
shit if somebody's gay. I don't think he thinks about
I
other
agree.
human beings enough to even.
No.
I mean, he might say something cruel to or about them, but I don't think he actually cares about legislating against that. I think
Yeah.
he's just like, well, the people that I'm manipulating, they're bigots, so I'm gonna do bigoted shit to please them. So
Right.
He's just a
Yeah.
Yeah,
self-racist
and I don't
anyway.
even I'll go as far as to say I don't even agree that he's racist more than he's obviously classist.
yeah,
It's just exactly like the dude that made asbestos legal again, or that paid
Yeah.
him to make asbestos legal again. There's a lot of white supremacist racists that are paying him to do the things that he's doing.
I think he's a white supremacist in the sense of all these old white Republicans are, whether
Power,
they come
yeah.
out and whether they
A
call
power
themselves or
supremacist,
not,
yeah.
that or not, they think they are better than
Mhm.
other skin colors purely based on pigment and all of that.
Mhm.
They may not say that at dinner, or they may not like put it on a t-shirt, but they do think it, and they do have feelings about those people joining their clubs or moving into their neighborhoods or whatever. They're fine with those people working for them
Sure.
for some embarrassing low undignified wage, and they'll be nice to them like, as an employee or a worker, like, hey, here's an
Right.
extra 100 for your family. Well, I'm not racist. I gave that guy, what's his name? He's only worked here for 20 years. I don't know his name.
It has to be Manuel.
Yeah, yeah. Because he was doing manual labor, so it's got to be.
So,
But
Cliff, how does it change, man?
I don't know if I can say that on the air without getting arrested. No, I mean, I've got a plan. You've probably heard me talk enough to know what my plan is. And I sincerely think that if every group, every one of these large political action groups was following it, and that if Democrats in Congress were following it and everybody was doing it, I think we'd be a lot further along in the fight by now.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's doing it, just me and whoever follows me and shows up with me. But my plan is amplifying pro democracy veterans' voices, getting tough veterans to go viral online talking about why they oppose Trump, why he's against veterans, why he's against democracy, why he's against the Constitution. Because if any of these cult member clowns are reachable, they're reachable that way. They're not going to listen to me. They're not going to listen to you. They will possibly listen to if a guy looks like them and
Mm-hmm.
he's bald headed with a goatee and he says, "My name's John. I'm a combat veteran and I love baseball and Harley Davidsons and I hate Donald Trump." They're gonna be like, "Man, you got me with the first five things. You kind of lost me with number six." But it's like that's
Mm-hmm.
who they might listen to,
Right.
and there's only a small chance they'll listen to them. But if there's any chance at all for us to reach them, that's our chance. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one reason to amplify veterans' voices. The other reason is I want to get these veterans together in town halls because I want them to meet. I want them to meet and exchange information and stay in touch and build a network
Mm-hmm.
in that town and the next town and the next town all over the United States. I want these progressive veterans to come together and get to know each other and organize and keep in touch for all the obvious reasons that you're thinking about right now. And I think that that message, veterans against Trump, the message of him being the most anti-veteran president in history, him cutting the
For real.
VA, him cutting veteran suicide hotline,
Mm-hmm.
all of that from a messaging standpoint, supporting the veterans, you do it because it's the right thing to do. You amplify these people because they deserve to be amplified, and it's important for our country. But also from a political standpoint, that talking point is polling
Mm.
really well, especially with the demographic that Democrats lost ground with, which is like young men in their
Mm-hmm.
20s of every race and every region. Um, so I think that's a winning approach. So veterans town halls, getting them together in person and recording what they have to say and then blasting it online, but
Mm-hmm.
also getting veterans to just make their own videos and blast them online. So we've put out 8. One of them's got like 500,000 views. All of them have between 10,000 to 80,000, 100,000. So they're out there and they're just continuing to get seen and get shared. We want to make more. Another thing is putting pressure on the media, namely Fox News, and saying, "Hey, like, we're going to hold you accountable. If you're going to lie,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to be state media and you're going to push disinformation, we're going to show up outside your offices.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make your life miserable and we're going to hold you accountable because this shit's going to fail. Might take a year, might take 2, might take 10, but it's going to fail. And when
Mm-hmm.
it fails, the citizens of this country are going to hold you accountable
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in the worst ways your imagination can think of,
Mm-hmm.
politically, legally, physically, all of it. And so I think pressure on all of the media because the right wing media is doing what they've always done, which is push disinformation and knowingly and deliberately lie, whether that's Newsmax, OEN, Fox, but even what we call the left leaning media, which doesn't exist anymore really, uh, they're sane washing insane shit and they're normalizing abnormal shit and they're downplaying the fact that like this is a full on attack on democracy and the United States Constitution and everything this country stands for. And they're reporting it like it's just some other political cycle, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so putting pressure even on the quote unquote left leaning media to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
you work for CNN and you don't feel like you can tell the truth, quit. Quit and start your own thing.
Like
Telling
Rachel
the
Maddow.
fucking truth. Yeah, do your own thing. Go out on your own, and people in the pro democracy movement will support you. Will subscribe. Will join your
One
Patreon.
hundred
Will
percent.
share. Will
Mhm.
follow you, and you'll make more money on YouTube than you ever made at CNN. if
Yep.
you take that step and trust the people to get behind you. Um,
Brian
no,
Tyler Cohen needs help.
yeah. And another thing is putting pressure on the Heritage Foundation, and you know, really, these two things are so important. It's like, do you hate the legislation that is cutting 83,000 employees from the VA? Most of those employees are veterans, and all of them are taking care of veterans. If you hate that legislation, it came from the Heritage Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
214 Massachusetts Avenue, Washington, D.C. That's where it came from. There's not a gate around it. There's not a 10-foot wall around it. There's not an army around it. It's just a building, and these people go in and out of it all day. And you can get this close to their face and call them a fucking Nazi, and I know because I've done it. You can do it
Show
every
that
day.
tattoo, Cliff.
There ought to be, there ought to be 1,000.
Get him.
There ought to be 1,000 people outside the Heritage Foundation every day. Do you hate this ICE shit? It came from the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
214 Massachusetts Avenue, Washington, D.C.
Hmm.
Do you hate the lies being told about ICE? That's Fox News. The legislation is from Heritage Foundation, and the propaganda about that legislation is from Fox News. If you end those two groups, you win. You win the battle. That is the head of the monster. Fox News, because Donald Trump doesn't exist without Fox News lying
Mm-hmm.
for him.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump doesn't exist without a plan written by people who are smarter and more sinister than him, which is the
Mm-hmm.
Heritage Foundation, which
Yeah.
is backed by Hungary, who is backed by Russia. This is just another Russian shill.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's a Russian shill, Heritage Foundation is a Russian shill, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, all these people are simping for Russia. And the maddening part is you're not just simping for our adversary. You're not just simping for a dictator. You're simping for like a 5'5" loser ass simpleton who can't get his own people to fight in his war and has to borrow troops from North Korea. You're
Mm-hmm.
simping for a dude whose inflation is like 20%. Who every decent person already left Russia. All the good people that had something to offer the world, that had the means to leave, already left. Russia is
Mm-hmm.
a failing nation. They don't export shit. They export disinformation, fuckery, and war. They don't export anything that anybody gives a shit about. Maybe some vodka, we can make that too. Nobody
Yeah.
cares about anything Russia does. This is a weak man trying to be tough, a small man
Mm-hmm.
trying to be big. So it's like, I'm not surprised that Republicans are fucking traitors. They're like, pick a winner, dude. At least simp for somebody with something going on. Because
Mm-hmm.
Vladimir Putin's a fucking loser, and Russia is a failed country with a failed economy and a failed military.
Well, and I want to go back to the veterans thing because I don't know if people understand. I was in the army, and they rewire you because you can't go into something like a war thinking that you have something back home. So they
Yeah.
convince you that there's nothing. And then when you're done with your service, they put you back out into into the real world, and everything is me, mine, 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 and gimme, gimme, gimme. And we were just taught, don't leave your buddy behind. Then and everything was a team and everything is a squad.
Totally.
No one gets left behind. So it's not just like when they talk health, um, I guess health insurance or health care for veterans, the majority, I might be off on this, but I think the majority of the services that they're providing are mental health services.
Sure.
You know,
A lot of it.
I have to go to the VA the way that the economy is set up now. The only reason I have health insurance is because I have to go to the VA.
Yeah.
Now they're cutting that. They're cutting VA. When I go to the VA for healthcare, you should see how scared everyone is. They're waiting for the second shoe to drop because everyone is getting laid off.
Mm-hmm.
There's one of the first questions that they ask you when you call the VA, whether or not it's for an appointment or whatever, they ask you, are you homeless? Are you safe? And then they get into like the mental health availabilities that they have or the programs that they have to help you.
Yeah.
Because it's such a ripoff to be a veteran and you dedicate your life to you being able to talk your shit and Trump being able to talk his shit and Marjorie Taylor Greene talking her shit. But then when it comes for you guys to pay us back for the agreement that you guys had us sign, now we're out here pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps, and it's
Yeah.
horseshit. It's
Mm-hmm.
horseshit.
And it's like, this is an entitlement program. These are people who fought for the country, whether some of those wars were justified or not. They also sent a lot of
That's
troops
beyond my
to
pay
do.
grade.
Yeah,
You
and
told me
they
to
also
go do this
exactly.
thing. Exactly.
And if you can't take care of those people, don't fucking send them to war. And
Exactly.
but now Republicans are acting like this is an entitlement, and it's like no, 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 it's not an entitlement. These people were guaranteed
Right.
health care from the government
Right.
that they worked for, and their job was to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Social Security is also not an entitlement. My mom was a nurse for 38 years, and she paid into it every single paycheck. You're giving her her money back. You're not
Yep.
giving her money, you're giving her money back that she paid
Mm-hmm.
into for 38 years. And that was the deal that you made as a government. It was your idea, it was your deal, and you made it with her. Just like the veterans, you did this with these generations of now older people. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I need to keep saying it. My mom lives off Social Security that she paid into,
Mm-hmm.
that they owe her.
Mm-hmm.
And if they take that, I am going to view that as you just you just mugged my mom. You just
So from my
stole
mom.
my mother's income.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look at it just like you came into her house and took that $3,000 out of her sock drawer every month or whatever. Like you're robbing my elderly mother who needs that to live off of. That's how I'm going to treat you. I'm going to treat you like you just robbed my elderly mother. And I hope every
Right.
other man who's got half a spine in this country will treat them the same way when they try to rob their elderly parents. Like
Right.
if you're going to rob a whole generation's elderly parents, best of
There
luck to
should be
you.
a price to pay.
Yeah.
Best of
Yep.
luck to you because you're gonna fucking need it. I promise.
See,
Mm-hmm.
they cut. So there's a Veterans Affairs facility here in my town, and it turned into like almost like a homeless shelter, but nobody runs it. It's like a shitty motel, and they're just sitting out there in their wheelchairs, and like there's nobody there to take care of them or to guide them. There's no resources for them whatsoever, and so we're trying to here, like with my church, that we're trying to make sure that that doesn't have to happen here anymore.
Yeah,
And a lot of it too is the younger veterans, they're not talking to the older veterans anymore. Like you go to the VFWs and the American Legions and all that, it's just a bunch of old guys, and they're just drinking beers and shooting the shit and being sad and lonely. And then you get the young guys that want that don't know how to adapt to living in society again, and they're kind of like, I don't want to go back there. So like there needs to be that bridge and a gap, where I love when you say the veterans need to connect from town to town to town to town. There's so many people that are like them that need to rely on each other, be that look out for your man on your left and your man on your right, and to keep going. And it's really a shame to see them just deteriorate away. And you're seeing, people go out, thoughts and prayers, thank you for your service, and then the next thing you know, like, you're we don't want to see you, that's a bad visual, like, come on, man, what,
Mm-hmm.
take care of your people. Like, this is what the country was founded on. I mean, that's what they say, at least. But these are the people that paid, that put their lives on the line for us. So you should just do them that fucking justice, man.
yeah. I
Tough
mean, it's
one.
Or don't
all
put
of
it in
that
the
should go
agreement.
without saying.
Or don't put it in the agreement. Like everything that they're trying to take away is things that we've already agreed upon.
Yeah, yeah. And in a society, there are these unspoken agreements, like when we're on a two-lane road, you stay in your lane and I stay in my lane, and that's how we don't hit each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And murder is bad. It's just like there are certain things that we all just accept. Like this is how this is this social contract, and like if all bets are off, then all bets are off for y'all too,
Right.
right?
Yep.
If it's now okay for your guys to go break into the Capitol and shit in the Congress people's office and beat cops and break windows,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's okay for everybody then, right? Because can I
That's
get?
how I see it.
It seems like maybe I ought to get 10,000 people to attack the Capitol. Maybe, and not only will I get pardoned, but then maybe the
Yeah.
government will give me $1 million at the end of the day, and maybe they'll even hire me to be some undercover, out of shape, mask wearing Gestapo. Like if those are the rules, dog,
Yeah.
then those are the rules.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm if y'all are making the rules now, please don't be surprised when I follow your rules. I'm gonna follow your rules. I'm
And I'm gonna
starting
be
this
good
right.
at it too.
This is my new club. It's called the John Brown Hunting Club. I started it as a T-shirt, but now I'm really am making it into a club. I've already got leaders in every state, and based on just the initial interest, I think as soon as the lights are switched on, it's going to be bigger than Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3%. It's going to be bigger than all those groups put together just when I take it live. Like right now, all of this is happening completely offline, signal chats, but I'm about to start accepting people joining up, and they're going to be vetted by their state leader. So, like, you join, you tell me what state, I'm sending you all to the state leader. And I'm gonna build the John Brown Hunting Club in every state
I
in the
love it.
United States. And why not? There's nothing wrong with having a militia. We're starting a well-regulated militia.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna cover our masks. We're gonna show up to political events where we don't agree with them, and we're gonna taunt them. We're gonna show up with our guns, of course, because that's okay,
You got to
That's
right?
tiki
what. Yeah,
torches and
we've
everything.
learned that that's okay.
Yeah. We're gonna wear
Yeah.
matching outfits. We're gonna haul out of U-Haul trucks. If we don't like what you're saying, we're gonna come to your event with AR-15s, just to make sure everybody's safe. Of course, we're just gonna do it to keep everybody
Right.
Keep
safe.
the peace. Keep the peace.
Right.
Yeah. So these are the new rules. Let's follow them. Let's play by the. Y'all
Yeah.
set the rules. Sounds good.
That's a way better name than the
Let's have
Proud
fun.
Boys.
Y'all both know who John Brown is, right? Not everybody does. I didn't for a long
He's
time.
he's an abolitionist, right? A
Yeah,
slavery abolitionist. Yeah.
a little more than that, but
I'm sure. Yeah. I
so
was I was
basically,
proud of myself that I remembered who John Brown was.
no,
You can
that's
explain more than that.
so. I'm not like trying to. This is not a gotcha moment. Most people don't know,
Yeah.
and the only reason I know is because I was having, this back when they were taking down the monuments, taking down the Confederate monuments and the Confederate flags, and I see all these like bootlicking dirt road dipshit simpletons like the Civil War wasn't about hate, it was about states' rights, and it was about sweet tea and Mountain Dew, and just these dumb motherfuckers that don't know anything they're talking about. And so I was like, I, I took it upon myself. Like, I need to learn. I already knew the gist of the Civil War, general history. But in that moment, I was like, this is a moment where I need to like really know my shit, and I need to be able to just squash people who are saying stupid shit. And so I basically was like, I know, I know the big battles. I know Abe Lincoln. I know slavery. I know the dates that it started and ended. But it occurred to me that I didn't really know like the very first conflicts. And so I just started Googling like how did the Civil War start? First
Mm.
battle of the, I was just like trying to find that original impetus. And that's when I learned about John Brown. So John Brown was like a preacher, and he was preaching against slavery as abomination against God. This is cruelty to God's children. He was preaching and preaching and preaching, and nothing was happening. So then he's like going out in like the middle of the villages and yelling, and people are like, this guy's crazy, and he's not achieving what he wants to achieve. So then he just like makes his own little mini militia with his sons and a few other dudes, and just goes out and starts killing slave owners. And
Ooh.
he killed a handful of slave owners, and then eventually they got to him, but he got cornered, and basically they sent Union troops to help him, and that was like one of the first conflicts of the Civil War.
Oh, crazy.
So
Damn.
John Brown Hunting Club in the bottom
Shout out
says
John Brown.
no
Sign me
quarter
up.
for Nazis.
I remember his name, I think, from a song.
Yeah. And there's they did a movie or like a series not long ago. Ethan Hawke played John Brown, and it was good. They kind of made him like zany and quirky and stuff. And I mean, maybe he was, but it would have been cooler if he was just badass, you know? They
Little
made
Jason
Like the
Statham.
Punisher.
Yeah, they made him kind of goofy, and it's like, I don't like him goofy. I want him just fucking full of rage.
John Wick.
But that's our
Yeah.
group, man. John Brown Hunting Club, and we're all gonna
I
have
love
matching
it.
shirts and matching hats. Maybe we'll make our own
Rap
gold
song coming
fishes.
soon.
Yeah,
Ooh, the
we'll make some
John Brown
silver.
anthem.
We'll make some
We got to make a
silver
John Brown
sneakers.
not diss track, but
Silver
definitely a
sneakers.
John Brown. Yeah, that might
We're gonna
be.
have a John Brown Bible, and
May-
maybe a meme coin.
Maybe a steak club.
I was gonna say John Brown Steak. That sounds like a restaurant right there. That's a chain.
John Brown University. That could be doable.
That's another
Okay.
thing that they're doing away with the eh, Department of Education and stuff. To me, what good is being the king of a bunch of dummies?
Oh, gotta
Like,
keep
what have
pace.
you
Dummies,
accomplished?
I mean, dummies is who buys gold sneakers, dog. I mean,
Preach.
they don't want smart people. That's why they made acid so illegal, because people were taking it and being like, "Oh, we're all connected as one, and all this is bullshit." And they're like, "Oh no, make that illegal." They're figuring out it's all a trick.
These are facts. These are facts.
People think that the anti-war movement just like stopped Vietnam on itself. Like the anti-war movement happened because of LSD. That's
Mm,
why it all happened on the West Coast and spread elsewhere, because acid was happening on the West Coast and spreading elsewhere.
mhm.
And that's how Silicon Valley became Silicon Valley, because all those people were eating acid and they're like, oh, I think I just realized how protons work. You know, like they just,
Yep.
like, shit, I just invented
Yeah.
the internet. Give me another hit of that.
Steve Jobs
like
was
it makes you
notorious for doing psychedelics.
totally makes you superhuman. I mean, look at Elon Musk. He's constantly hocked up on ketamine and ecstasy and God knows what else. You know, no judgment if you're using drugs to like expand your consciousness. That dude's just self-medicating because his daddy didn't let
And
him.
make the world a better place. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right.
But what good is not doing drugs and you're a complete asshole?
Well, that's all I say
Banning
about
books
Joe Rogan.
Pissing on yourself.
Yeah, the whole Joe Rogan, like the whole thing with Joe Rogan, like, oh, this guy's done all the psychotropics. Like, hey, I've done a lot of psychotropics too. It didn't make me a dumb asshole that wants to platform wannabe kings and billionaire con men. Like, what a weird
Yeah.
response to psychotropics. It's supposed to make you enlightened. It's not supposed to turn you into a useless
Right.
piece of shit.
For the most part, that's how it's supposed to be. And people are afraid of it, but it's not. Like, again, it's bad information being shared. If you, like everything else, like Cat Williams said, if you take 13 aspirins, it'll be your last headache.
Yeah,
Marijuana
totally.
is just a plant. It just
And,
so happens if you set it on fire.
yeah. Yeah, when you hear somebody go, I had a bad experience with acid, I'm like, tell me about it. I'm like, well, I took like 20 hits. I think I should have only taken like one. And I went to a Guar concert and I got stabbed and then my car got towed. And I'm like, oh, it's weird that you had a bad night. All the ingredients were there for a wonderful evening. Sounds like it was definitely the drug's fault, not yours, you dumb bastard.
Or
Literally,
the
every
other
time
thing is
somebody
you
goes,
try to control it. I've seen people who try to control their experience, you know, and that's not what the exercise is.
yeah,
And I've never done LSD or anything. I've done mushrooms.
yeah,
I've done mushrooms. But if you go and you try to control it, that's the point. The point is you're
totally.
not in control.
Yeah.
The point is you're part of this system.
If you take enough, you will lose control no matter how bad you wish to maintain it.
Right.
So a lot of times people have bad experience because they didn't take enough.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't take enough to overcome yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't kill your ego.
Right.
Took just enough to scare your ego into fighting for itself.
Man,
Right.
what if Trump killed his ego for a second?
Nah, I think it's so. I think it's directly attached to both kidneys and his heart.
Yeah.
His,
Yeah.
his
That
you,
that
you
man
can't
is made out of
separate.
Trump ego.
Gotta
Yeah,
pull the
you can't
plug.
separate that beast
No.
from its ego. He would
No.
cease to exist.
Yeah.
But I, you know,
It would be.
I do think they're beatable. But if they win, it won't be because they're strong. It
Mm-hmm.
will be because they were met with utter fucking weakness.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
If they win, it's our fault.
yeah.
100%.
Exactly.
The Democrats in Congress have been feckless and toothless. And, you know, I know Cory Booker talked for a day and Chuck Schumer wrote an angry letter, and some of them held up little popsicle stick signs that said, "This isn't good" at the
Yeah.
State of the Union. I mean, they've done some real big shit, but,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Can't take
and when
faults, you know.
I've talked to some of these, I've talked to some of these people, and I say, you know, you you got to do, you got to think outside the box, and they'll go, well, we can't impeach him because we don't have the votes, and it's like, no, 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 you're still in the box, dog.
You're in the box. Yeah.
This is not some other time in history. This is not another presidential administration. This is not
Mm-hmm.
another political cycle. This will be the end of American democracy, and it's going to be on you. It's going to
Mm,
be on you. So I'm talking about you need to conspire to get them removed in whatever way you need to. If that means that you need to talk with Canada and France and Germany and Great Britain and other allied nations, and y'all work together to figure something. I don't give a. That's up to you. It's your business. It's not my business.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all better do it.
yeah.
Because if they win, it's your fault. It's not even their fault. They're not that tough. He didn't win the election. Like, he didn't win.
Right.
Period. He didn't.
Not a
Right.
And everybody was mad. Oh man, they were mad at me when I said that the day after the election. I made a series of videos. This is really when I kind of started taking off online. I made a series of videos called I Don't Buy It. I Don't Buy It Part 1. I Don't Buy It Part 2. Because I follow this shit like a lot of people follow sports.
Yeah.
I know states, I know electoral maps, I know other elections. I have friends in politics. I raise money, I work with parties, and the results were coming in, and I was like, no way, no way, a Jewish Democrat named Stein won the governorship in my state by 14 points, and the dude that overturned Roe versus Wade also won. Nope. No,
Exactly.
there's no way. And that's just one example. And North Carolina is like barely purple, but like in Florida, they had the abortion ban on the ballot, and it was something like 63% of Floridians voted against it, but then voted for the guy that overturned Roe versus Wade. Sure, sure, yeah. The guy that started an insurrection and got found guilty by two juries of slandering a sexual assault victim and was facing 91 felony charges, 31 of which were under the United States Espionage Act. The guy that
Mm-hmm.
overturned Roe versus Wade, the guy whose CEO had just gone to jail twice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the tip of the iceberg. I could list 500 other things. That guy's the first Republican in 40 years to win all 7 swing states. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They
Sure.
could have tossed the
Exactly.
one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you won them all. Oh, come on, man.
Right. And you also got hit by an AR-15 round in the ear and didn't even have a scratch. You really
Nothing.
were sent by Jesus, miracle man. It's just so fucking dumb. It's like, and
Yeah.
everybody's just like, well, how did we lose? First of all, shut the fuck up, dumbass. We didn't lose. Stop talking like that. Period.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like this is where we need to start from. He didn't win. He didn't get shot. He doesn't have the support that y'all think he has.
How do
When
you?
they
Let's
show
go.
up in two U-Hauls, when they show up in two U-Hauls, there's a reason there's two U-Hauls.
Only two.
I'm a comedian. I'm a comedian. If I really tried, I could fill up 100 U-Hauls and roll up on DC. I promise I could.
Yeah.
These guys go viral with 44 hillbillies in a matching outfit and two U-Hauls. The support's not real. When he had his 100
And even
day
the. Yeah.
his 100-day rally, there was 1,000 people inside, 3,000 people outside protesting against it,
Yeah.
1,000 people inside. And he went on the news and said, we had 4,000 people attend. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Not for the
Three,
same
three,
reasons.
And then the
3,000 of 3,000
and then
of them wish you were
again
dead.
and then again that catastrophe of a military parade, and he
Oh,
had
dude.
a handful of people there, and we
100%.
had no King's Day was bonkers.
12
100%.
was it 12 million? 13 million.
I heard 13. I heard 11 and then I heard 13. And, also the inauguration. His viewership online and on cable television was 30% lower than his first inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
It was 27% lower than Biden's inauguration. And the reason they moved it inside, like it was going to be cold. Yeah, dog, it happens in January every year, motherfucker. It's always
Every
cold.
year,
They
Nobody's gonna
moved,
like
show up.
clockwork.
they moved it inside because they didn't want the optics of a tiny crowd.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want those overhead shots of the tiny crowd because that's undeniable optics.
Yeah.
Hotel occupancy was down like 30%. Like people weren't coming. It wasn't going to be good because he didn't win because his support isn't real. And so people on the left go, well, I got a neighbor with 3 flags and 5 signs and 17 stickers. Well, that's the supporter. That's the
Mm-hmm.
supporter. The other people on your street that don't have that shit aren't supporters. The only people left are the diehard dumbasses. And there's
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of them. 2 U-Haul trucks worth, to be exact.
Our
Let's go
neighbor,
back to the
my neighbor
shooting
took his
because
flag down.
let's go back to the shooting because when it happened, I was like, to me, this dude is nothing but shitty TV.
Yeah.
So the whole ear thing, I was like,
Come on, man.
but then what do you say about the 2 people in the stands that were shot and apparently killed?
I don't know. I'm not like conspiracy theorist to the point that I think the guy isn't really dead.
Yeah.
Uh, here's what I do with all these like conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I treat it like I treat eternity and deities. Do you believe in God? I admit that I'm a human being and I don't know all the answers. And if you think that you know all the answers, you're arrogant and naive.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't know all the answers, but I'll tell you, I would bet everything I have and everything I've ever had and everything I'm gonna have, he didn't get shot. And I bet you that kid was a patsy. That kid was a mega
Man,
nerd school shooter style kid from a MAGA family.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you they said, hey, buddy, we really need you to defend the president. We need you to get up on this building and help us defend. And then killed the kid.
It's just
And I
way
don't
too
know
many
about the
weird
firemen or whatever.
things.
they didn't
They
see the
let,
guy. They let him up there. Like, come on, man.
yeah, let's
They
play a
saw
game.
him, but they didn't see him. Yeah.
Let's play a game.
Okay.
Who killed Lincoln?
John Wilkes Booth.
Booth.
Who shot JFK?
What's his name?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you remember who killed MLK?
Did they ever find out?
I don't remember. But the point is, I do this in a crowd
The
of
CIA?
like, yeah, well, totally, all of them. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna actually put this in the next special, and I'm gonna do it on stage, and I'll know all the answers. But I do this with people just in conversation, and a lot of people can like, Bobby Kennedy. That dude was, he had a really crazy name, like, fuck. He was Middle Eastern, Sirhan or whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can rattle them all off, and then I go, all right, what's the dude's name that shot Trump? I feel like.
Yeah.
Do y'all know his name?
Not
No.
a chance.
He supposedly shot a sitting president. I haven't met one person who could just bust his name out.
You're
He
not
shot
lying.
he shot a sitting president who's president right now,
Mm-hmm.
and he did it like supposedly like whatever that was 8 months ago. and nobody knows his name. That's probably a coincidence.
Usually
And
they're famous.
there hasn't been any like ceremonies for the two people that lost their lives. Nothing. Nothing.
I mean, you know, if if the one dude, the one MAGA firefighter dude, did die, then I think it was a, you know, cracking eggs to make an omelet, and that's
Yeah.
even more sinister, and they should be
Yeah.
charged with his murder. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch the videos of the Secret Service, like they like let him stand up and pump his fist, like,
The little lady hugging his like waist. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
and then he goes to the car and they let him pump his fist again. Like that's not what happens. They tackled the to the ground. I mean, it's like it was such bullshit. And I mean, forget all of that. You got hit in the ear with an AR-15 round. I mean, grant the shell is big. The bullet is just, you know, the size of like
Yeah.
a 9 mil bullet end casing, you know, but I mean, still, like that's the size of half your pinky finger hitting you in the ear at however many thousands of miles an hour.
Just so perfectly that nips
Right.
you.
Yeah.
And you do
Not,
like this.
no
You
scar, no scratch.
no trauma.
None. Like, look at his ear. Like, you see an interview with him. Like, no, not a tiniest chunk missing from that ear.
Raise some
And they
tampon sales though,
and they
or
wouldn't release
maxi pad sales.
they wouldn't
Mega
release
pads?
any of the medical they wouldn't release any of the medical file on it. And then
Surprise.
Christopher Wray, who he appointed to head the FBI, came out and said, "We do not know definitively that he was hit in the ear by a bullet." And that's when Trump like called him a deep state liberal
Yeah.
operative and
You gotta
basically
go.
made him resign from the FBI. He if he had any balls at all, he would come out and speak out. But he doesn't. None of them do. I mean, look at these people: Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio. They
Oh,
all called it. They all called him a psycho, a con man,
Mm-hmm.
a sociopath.
JD
JD Vance
Vance.
called him
JD Vance
America's
called him
Hitler,
Hitler.
and
Yeah.
I
now
wish
he's
I
the
had the
vice
meme.
president.
I wish I had the meme.
Did you see the video I made about the meme?
That's fucking hilarious, man.
I was like, evidently they don't like it when you have this meme. So here's the meme. Also, JD Vance is a puss. I just called JD Vance a P word for like 7 minutes. I had had some
Dying,
White
man.
Claws.
I
I
was
may or may
dying.
I
not have
had some
some
white
on
claws.
the beach.
Was that when you were walking the dog? Because you
Yeah.
were going off, dude.
Somebody messaged me. They're like, that video was a little out of sorts compared to a lot of your videos. I'm a little bit concerned about you. And I didn't message him back because it was annoying, but I wanted to be like, yeah, I was day drinking at the beach. All right. My mental health is fine. I was day drinking at the beach. I'm sweaty because it's hot. I'm mad because I'm a human being paying attention.
Damn right.
Hey, when I started changing the content of this channel, so I'll see something that's happening in society, right? And then I'll go and I'll find a video that helps explain it, and then I'll just sit and I'll react to it, right? While I'm drawing and I'm doing my creative stuff. So when I started doing that, like some of these things that they're trying to convince us are so stupid. And I just sit and I look at the camera and I'm like, what the fuck? This is so dumb. And then I take that and I put it on Instagram, and people started reaching out to me like, hey, you okay? Like,
Oh man.
what's going on? Do you need help?
No, do you need help? Why are you pretending that everything's okay? It's not.
The house is on fire.
That's like when I recorded Fight, and I was like, man, should I? I was like, I felt a certain way. I was like, I know I can't talk to certain people about this, but I was like, man, now I embrace the conversation. Like, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I messaged you too, Cliff. I was like, man, look what my buddy just wrote. He's not my buddy anymore, but yeah, he was talking some mad shit, and I was like, you're gonna end our friendship over what you're believing in for your king, hero, whatever the hell you want to call him. I was like, man, that's.
Yeah,
Good riddance.
I was like,
Good
that's
riddance.
could
it.
have saved me 20 years, man.
Thank you for making it easy.
Yeah, no thanks. And it's not a political difference. You're showing me that you have no character, no integrity, no compassion, no intellectual honesty, no virtues
Mm-hmm.
or values. If you're
Mm-hmm.
literally worshiping a con man who, him and another guy with 9 marriages between them, are selling a USA Bible made in China, and you think I'm wrong, then you're one of the dumbest people that's ever lived. And not only are you dumb, you're virtueless.
Yep.
You don't stand for anything. And why
Right.
would I even want to be friends? Like, you're clearly a racist and or a homophobe. You, you're a bootlicker. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
a traitor to your country. You're a traitor to your fellow citizens. I, like I don't wanna. I don't want someone in my life that doesn't have even the simplest value. We could agree to disagree back
Mm-hmm.
when it was just.
Right.
I still, honestly, I still thought, hey, you're supporting the party of white supremacy and homophobia and greed. I mean, because the Republican Party has always been trying to cut people off
Mm-hmm.
programs they need to eat and have medical care. They've always been trying to give more money to people that don't need it and take money from people that do. They've always done all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like undeniably sinister, and this dude is simping for our biggest geopolitical adversary. He's abandoning our allies, aka every democracy on planet Earth,
Mm-hmm.
so he can lick the assholes of the worst dictators on planet Earth. And you're down with it because you think he's a good businessman despite his 6 bankruptcies and 4,000 lawsuits and dozens of other. It's like, there's just no, there's no excuse, man. There's just no excuse at this point.
And
Like,
I want to this message is I've gotten into this conversation with a couple people. The United States needs to be in NATO. Period.
of course.
For the simple fact that if we left NATO and we brought all our equipment and all our troops back, when any one of these idiots wants to stand up and do something stupid, like I don't know, invade a country, a sovereign country,
Hey.
Imagine that.
now it's going to take us that much longer to get our equipment back over there.
Yeah.
For that fact alone, let alone the trades that happen between the countries and everybody's watching each other's back and we're trying to figure out how to do it in a better way. Besides all that, the simple fact is when shit goes down, the United States, unfortunately for some people, we have to go clean up the mess.
Yeah.
For Big Brother.
We need our stuff all over the planet because otherwise someone is going to come and do something stupid. The reason why they don't do something stupid more regularly is because our presence is there. Our presence is felt. So all these morons that are saying we need to leave NATO because NATO is ripping us off, shut up.
Yeah. And this is somebody that also doesn't know how they're there in their work. And now they want us to
Mm.
like respect their opinion about geopolitics. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
Jeff. You don't know you don't know how many O's to put on when you use the word to. Like, you don't know what inflation is. You don't understand economics. Like, I don't care that you're dumb. Just be dumb and shut the fuck up. Don't be dumb and
Right.
loud. Don't be dumb
Yeah.
as shit and
Yeah.
pretending you're smart.
Right.
And
Don't be
all of a
proud in your
sudden, you know,
stupidity. Don't be proud
yeah,
of
and
your
all of a
stupidity.
sudden you
Yeah.
know about, you haven't read a book since you were 15, and now you want to pretend that you understand economics and inflation and geopolitics and
Right.
Ukraine. It's like you're not smart,
And
bro.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, just go like you should just don't. How about just don't vote? Don't vote because like you clearly don't really understand any of it. You're regurgitating some talking point of somebody who's only
Exactly.
slightly smarter than you are, or you're voting
Exactly.
Republican because people told you to, and you're not a big enough of a big boy to vote to think for yourself. I got to get a charger. Hang on one second. Then I'm gonna say what I think about NATO, and then I gotta hop off.
Okay. This is fun.
This is awesome. This is good shit, man. The
So
power of the interweb.
so I talk a lot about Donald Trump being a Russian asset. Um, and I mean it in the most sincere and literal sense. It's not hyperbole. I started a website called Donald Loves Vladimir,
Yep. Yes, he did.
donaldlovesvladimir.com.
Oh, I want one. I need
That's the
two
run.
merch.
That's the Run DMC vibe.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I love it.
Need a rope chain for that.
but the website, it's every documentary, every book, every podcast, every article, everything written about his ties to Russia from the late 80s to a Mueller report to Manafort and Yanukovych and Felix Sater, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, like Mueller, She Wrote podcast, it's seasons. It is a play-by-play breakdown of the entire Mueller investigation and all the reports after it. It's everything. If any human being on planet Earth consumes even half of this information, they're going to go, oh yeah, for sure this dude's a Russian asset. It's so fucking obvious. But stupid people, aka MAGA dipshit cumstains, when you argue with them, they go, "No, man, he ain't a Russian asset. That was a hoax. Russia. It was a hoax." It's like, cool. Who said it was a hoax? He said it was a hoax. Oh, cool. The criminal that was being investigated for crime said he wasn't a criminal and he didn't do crime. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
It's kind of like on Cops when they pull over a meth head and they go, "Who's do you have any drugs on you?" "No, sir." "Well, whose crack is this in your pocket?" "I don't know, sir. It's not my crack." "Well, it's in your pants." "Well, these ain't my pants, your officer." "Well, whose pants are they?" "I don't know. These are my mom's pants. I didn't think she did crack, but I don't know her that good." And it's like, of course the criminal said he's not a criminal, you dumb motherfucker. That's what criminals do.
Right.
And then
That's how you get away
his
with it.
attorney general was like, "Well, I read the Mueller report, and it basically said Donald Trump is a Jesus, bald eagle, patriot Jesus man." And people are like, "Well, his co-conspirator, the guy he robbed the bank with, said he didn't rob the bank." Like, oh, well, then it must be true. You
Yeah.
fucking simpleton. So anyway, saying all that to say this, the dude's a Russian asset. Obviously, he's also licking boots for Netanyahu. I don't, the relationship between Israel and Russia is a little bit complicated, the sort of the convergence of those two influences. But like Iran, for example, totally a Russian ally. So then he goes and bombs Iran, but they talk about it for a while and they kind of give him a heads up it's going to
2
happen.
weeks.
And then it happens.
They moved their uranium.
Yeah, and then Iran's like, "We'll show you. We're going to bomb your base in Qatar, the country that just gave you the airplane where you're building a $5.5 billion golf course. We're going to bomb you there. And then, but we're going to bomb you in a nice way." And
Little
then
bomb.
Donald Trump's like, "Thanks for bombing us in a nice way. That was a good bombing. Thanks for giving us a heads up and not hurting anybody." And it's like,
You can't write this shit, man.
who's this stupid? Who's this stupid? Unfortunately, a lot of American people, even on our side, are this. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, we're going to war with Iran." No, 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 no. This is all
A show. It's a TV
well,
show.
it's for show. It's to project strength that isn't real, but it's also to go, "Hey, Iran is a huge threat to you. That's why we have to send military to your city and your city and your city and
It's all
your
some
city."
smoke. Yeah.
That's what California was all about. That was a protest that spanned 3 city blocks. It wasn't out of control. The governor didn't want the military there. The mayor didn't want the military there. The police chief didn't want the military there. He sent troops into a U.S. city, even though the governor, mayor, and chief of police said, "Don't send troops." He did it anyway.
Yeah.
It's already here. The fascism is already here.
Yeah.
And it's being met with signs and songs and permits. We have to have permits for those protests. I mean, it's just like Chuck Schumer wrote a letter.
He wrote a strongly worded letter.
And Cory Booker talked. Did you see Cory Booker talk? He talked for a day.
He talked forever.
He didn't even
he talked forever. The only good thing about that is that there was a known white supremacist that was holding that record. And that's the only reason I'm like, good, take that shit down too.
I like the poetic justice of that. But, and even still, I go and post calling J.D. Vance a pussy. Granted, I called him a pussy 34 to 39 times in 7 minutes. But people are commenting on my stuff. They're like, "You shouldn't say the P word." I'm like, fuck you. They're Nazis and they're taking over your country. Like, stop nitpicking me who's talking shit to them. Like,
when's the point do they get mad? You know what I'm saying?
And we're still like, I can't go to that protest because there's not a permit. Let me tell you how useful it is to put your name on a permit. Perfect way for them to find all of your information and then look you up and then send the FBI to raid you. I know because it just happened to a guy I know. I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot because I don't want to attach myself to it. But this guy, the only reason they found him is because he's the guy on the permit. And this group is making enough noise and it's making them nervous. And somebody said to somebody else, who's this group? Who's on the permit? Okay, here's the guy on the permit. All right, dig through his social media for the last 5 years and let's get enough on him to go raid his house and arrest him. And that's what they did. And it's like, man, if you're gonna arrest everybody in this country that wishes Donald Trump was dead, you're gonna have to build a lot more prisons than you already are, because it's about 75% of the country.
You need more to see, Cop.
But he's not just a Russian asset. He's a Russian asset in the greater context of the BRICS nations. So that's why they're pulling out of the UN, they're pulling out of NATO, because they're no longer identifying with these European democracies because they don't view them as superpowers. You know, the EU as a whole is very powerful in comparison to Russia or China, but as individual countries, they don't view them as superpowers. To me, it doesn't matter because I'm not an idiot. I still want to support democracies. But Trump, because he's a power hungry egomaniac, a fake alpha male, all these things, he only sees strength. And China is an economic superpower and a military superpower. Russia is, sort of a superpower, I guess, in the sense that they meddle in geopolitics all over the country. But he is identifying, the BRICS nations is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now there's 23 other nations joining, including Indonesia, who has almost the same size population that we have. So this is becoming a more powerful conglomerate and coalition of nations. And that's who the right wing is pushing us to be part of, that because they don't give a shit about democracy. They want us to be an authoritarian country like these other authoritarian countries, and they want us identified with economic power. And they're okay with the U.S. with our heyday being over. I think they are accepting that our heyday is over because China and Russia want our heyday to be over. And
100%.
these Republicans are traitors. They're traitors, and they should be treated like traitors. And when the time comes, I hope that they are. I really sincerely hope that we treat them like we treated traitors 100 years ago. But they are simping. They are simping for these oligarchs and these authoritarians while turning their backs on even our democratic ally who's being invaded, even Ukraine, who we promised to protect. It's not just a nice thought. We promised them multiple times, if you denuclearize, we'll keep you safe. And we're breaking our promise. But we're also turning our backs on Canada and Mexico and Germany and UK and, all these other democratic nations. So this is just an entire worldview shift. And they're not hiding it. J.D. Vance says the U.S. needs to get over its dictator phobia. They want an authoritarian country in our country, and they want us to turn our backs on democracy. And that's the big picture. And so, again, if they win, it won't be because it's what the people wanted. It won't be because they were smart or strong or good or that they had a lot of support. It will be because of the weakness of the opposition. And I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm not willing to look back and go, oh man, I should have done something. I regret being a fucking coward. I'm not willing to look back and hate myself for being a coward. I'm at least going to look back and go, I did everything I could and not enough people joined me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to Heritage Foundation where every bit of this legislation is coming out of, and I got 100 people with me. I got 600,000 followers. I got 100 people at the Heritage Foundation. Everybody wants to sit at home and complain about ICE and complain about Social Security and complain about the VA. It's like, that's the building it's all coming out of. And you can get this close to their face and call them a fucking Nazi. And there should be 1,000 people surrounding the building every single day. And until there is, we're not going to win. Until
Yeah.
that level, until the temperature is turned up to that point, we're not going to win.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, like those dummies that we keep talking about, they need someone to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
So it might make sense to them. But I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I don't need rich people to tell me what to do. They've never been
No
a poor
thanks.
kid from a poor brown kid from Chicago.
Damn
You don't
right.
know what it takes to be me. I
Mm.
don't
Yeah.
need your guidance. I need you to get out of my way.
Yep.
And let's remember, when I was 16 years old on my 17th birthday, I promised the Constitution that I would do everything within my power to make sure that the Constitution was what we pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those promises don't go away.
Good.
Those promises don't go away. There ain't no way in hell, that I'm going to be alive and watch this little Cheeto faced bastard be an authoritarian leader. Ain't no way in hell.
What's happening, buddy?
Take that how you want it.
The reason they're doing everything they're doing with no apparent concern for elections is because they don't intend to let us have any more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they really thought the midterms were going to happen, none of these Republicans would be voting to take away health care from 13 million people.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Or to kill USAID when all the food for USAID is being grown by Midwestern farmers in the United States who are probably 90% voted for Trump.
Yep.
Everything
Meanwhile, the
they're doing
DoD
is-
has failed 7 what is it, the
Audits.
audits, 7 audits, and then they're going to go after USAID. That's the thing it's so infuriating.
and raising taxes literally, unless you make $400,000 a year or more, your taxes are going up. So
Yeah.
like all these people that love them are getting a tax increase. People they know are going to lose their health care.
Mm-hmm.
Old people they know are going to lose their Social Security. Veterans they know are going to lose their care. Prices are still going up. The economy shrunk by 0.5% this quarter, which hasn't happened in a long time.
Sprinkle in some AI.
Their
You're,
kids
lo-
are
you're,
losing
you're going to
their.
lose more than just your health care. You're going to lose your house, and then they're going to turn around and rent it to you.
Yeah. And the reason they're doing all these things that are inherently unpopular and would otherwise lose them an election is because they don't plan. They might plan to let an election happen,
Yeah.
but they don't plan to let it be accurate or fair or consequential.
Right.
So people can either realize that now or they can wait till a week after the midterms and go, wait a minute, there's no way that's how this election really went. I mean, like, do y'all want to start fighting now or do you want to give them more time to prepare? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And I'm not even saying, hey, let's all get in the street and clash. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that. I'm not saying 10,000 blues against 10,000 reds. Meet in LA and clash. I'm saying people on the left need to be way smarter than that. The heat needs to be applied wisely and precisely. And I don't have any interest in fighting Billy Bob down the street. I would
Mhm.
rather figure out a way to take down the people causing all of the in course in a legal and non-violent way, because I'm a good boy and I would never break the law for anybody listening. But like, I want to find a way to stop the propaganda disinformation network.
Yeah.
I want to find a way to make it impossible for them to broadcast that news.
Mhm.
And I want to find a way to make it impossible for Heritage Foundation folks to show up to work. Like, let's put 10,000 people around that building. How are you going to stop those 10,000? Are you going to send 10,000 police officers to stop the 10,000 people? Because then we might have to send 30,000 people to surround the building. Are you going to send 30,000 police officers to stop the 30,000 people around the Heritage Foundation? Because if you do, we might have to send 50,000. Are you going to send 50,000 police officers to stop the 50,000 around the building? Like, that's where it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
got to be massive numbers. If 5
Right.
million people go up to DC with a tent and go, when he's out of office, we'll go home, shit will change rapidly.
Right.
The military is not going to fire on 5 million Americans camping out. They're just not going to. They're not. So,
They might.
we have to stop thinking.
They might.
And in the meantime, we're still, well, make sure that the protest happens in the park and don't leave the park, and you got to have a permit, and you got,
Yeah.
we're going to sing some songs
But
at
don't
each
bring
other.
a bullhorn.
Yeah, that's going to show them who's boss. And don't say the P word on the Instagrams.
Don't talk about JD Vance's picture.
Don't body shame the Nazis. Go fuck yourself.
Hey Cliff, I've always said it, man. Whenever I see one of your posts, man, I came for the comedy. I stayed for the activism. You're a hero, brother.
Preach.
You're one of those guys,
Preach.
man. You're that special guy, man. We everybody needs a mouthpiece, to get out there and lead the march. So for you to be that guy, I know it's not something that you thought about when you were 15, but when God armed you with the tools, you just didn't know how to use them yet. Now you're using them, and you're using them for a purpose that a lot of people are behind you. And we all need to come together as a unit and not individual pieces to make shit happen. And man, I'm here, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all having me on.
And lots of respect to you, because when Trump took over, the only thing I could think of was the good guys on this side of the argument who talk the same kind of shit that he does. We need to step up. And that's when I flipped the content of my channel, because the meme or whatever the hell it was that they say, when they back in World War II, the kids were asking, "Hey, what did you do?" Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when kids are asking, "What did Carlos do?" He made videos, he made rap songs, he hung out with Cliff, hung out with C4. He talked that shit, and he's trying to shake the cage so you idiots can wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It looks weird. It doesn't look like not an insurrection, but it doesn't look like a coup. It doesn't look like authoritarianism is taking over, because you've never been through this.
Yeah, totally.
But if you take away all your feelings and look at all the breakdown, everything is lining up.
100%.
And then comedy is almost like the perfect way to deliver the information, because it kind of, it makes it palatable.
Yeah. Oscar Wilde said, if you're going to tell somebody the truth, you better make it funny or they'll kill you.
Make them laugh, brother.
And with that, everybody, thank you so much for checking out this video. Cliff, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, starting that shit. And I'm telling you, I promise you, if there's something that you need me for, I will definitely try to figure out a way to either make it happen or be there or whatever. A trip to Washington, D.C. right now, the way my bank account is set up.
I'll give you plenty of heads up. Plenty of heads up.
Attaboy.
We got to work on that song too, Cliff.
Yeah, if y'all want to follow me, Cliff Cash Comedy on all platforms. I got 2 comedy specials on YouTube, The Long Road and Thoughts and Prayers. And also check out my website, donaldlovesvladimir.com.
And I'll put all those links in the description of this video, so you guys, I'll make it nice and easy for you. C4 Explosives, my brother, thank you so much for setting this up. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and hang out and hopefully educate the people. Again, thank you guys both so much.
Oh yeah, I'll see y'all soon.
Appreciate
you.
Coconut Justice.